Hello and welcome to the Ross Cloud Podcast. I'm your host, Carl Ross Sr. And this platform was created to motivate and to inspire in hopes that you will become a better you. I'd like to give a shout out to everybody out there that's listening all over the world. Thank you guys for tuning in and listening to the Ross Cloud Podcast. Thank you guys for your support. And remember, it is International Women's Month. If I said that right, I hope I said that right. But, I love all of the women all over the world.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Thank you guys for all of your contributions to our world and to our society.
Yes.
This world is a better place because of you and what you've implemented in our society. Thank you. Mm-hmm. So listen again, we have a very special guest. We have Mr. Christopher Smalls. He's a CPA over at Novant Health, CPE over at Novant Health, clinical pastor. And today we're going to we're going to talk about emotional intelligence. What's happening, Chris?
What's up, my brother?
Man, good to have you on again, man.
Yeah, man. Shout out to all the women.
Yes.
Yeah, we wouldn't be here without them.
Come on, man.
Absolutely.
Sure wouldn't, man.
Yeah, emotional awareness, man. Let's get into it.
Hey, man.
It.
I love this.
Intelligence, emotional awareness.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that you accepted once again.
Mm-hmm.
Been getting a great response from a lot of the things that's being said. I think our society needs it. I think our men need it.
Absolutely.
As well as women. Our society, period,
Mm-hmm.
man. The way mental health is and
Mm-hmm.
the way we see so many things happening in our society today. And the belief system that everybody has is different.
Yeah.
And sometimes people need tangible things, and these are going to be some good tangible tools
Yeah.
to help people become better.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to go ahead and get right into it, man, and let you do your thing.
Yeah, man. So today, hopefully, I want to shed some light on something that us men deal with. Recently, I spoke to a group of men in the community about emotional intelligence or emotional awareness. And for decades, probably centuries, men have been told that to be a man, you need to be tough. To be a man, you don't need to show your emotions. You shouldn't cry. Suck it up. Man up. Be a man, boy, or whatever verbiage or whatever language you've heard growing up. And so, but what happens is, or what's happening, I should say, is that it causes a lot of mental illness when you don't recognize your emotions, right? So you look at women and you look at the fact that they live longer than we do, my brother.
True.
You look at the fact that they are less likely to commit suicide. You look at the fact that they suffer less than we do from mental illness, because women are better at expressing their emotions. They are better at speaking on how they feel. They are better at recognizing their emotions.
Yes.
But us as men, we have a lot of catching up to do, and that's only because I think of being poorly educated and being misled by society, and let's be honest, our parents, about what a real man is or how a real man should act. Mm-hmm. So just want to shed some light on how to be aware of what you're feeling, how to recognize what you're feeling, and not to feel guilty about what you're feeling.
Yeah, facts.
And how to be able to sit in what you're feeling. A lot of times we think that we have to judge our emotions, and that's not fair to us.
Yeah,
emotions are a part of being a human being. Feelings are what make you human. Mm-hmm. Okay, it's a part of your soul. The soul, what I believe the soul to be, is the mind, the will, and the emotions. Your thoughts, your feelings, your determinations. And so every human being has a soul. That's right. And so we all have feelings, and men included. And so we need to recognize that, and recognizing those feelings, and owning those feelings, and knowing how to express them, and knowing how to process them, will definitely make us more mentally healthy. So, yeah.
That's good stuff, man.
Yes, sir.
I really, we hear that word thrown around, emotional intelligence. We hear it around, and a lot of times I don't think we really understand what it means. A lot of times, especially when you're watching, because of everybody's mental health, that's a huge thing, but it should have always been a huge thing. But I know in our community sometimes it's kind of, shunned upon. We don't like to talk about it as much as we should, but we should, I think we're starting to talk more about this.
Yeah.
So emotional intelligence. So
Yeah.
I'll let you continue to build with it, man. And
Yeah.
and go ahead on and do your thing. Man,
Yes, sir.
with it. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
The floor is yours, brother.
So one of the things that I want us to do as men is I want us to own what we're feeling. I want us to be able to recognize and process what we're feeling. If you're angry, let's own that anger and be more constructive about it instead of being reckless with it, and trace it back and start to ask yourself, why am I mad? Like, why am I upset?
Yeah.
If you paint different scenarios, if you come home and your dinner ain't ready, why are you and you and your wife get into it, or your significant other get into it,
Yeah.
and you questioning why the food ain't ready. I've been at work all day, yada yada yada. Why are you upset?
Yeah.
Why are you really upset? Are you that hungry? Or are you upset because you feel like it's owed to you? Are you upset because something happened at work?
Yeah.
Are you upset because of a conversation y'all had 2 weeks ago that was never settled? Are you upset? Like, really start questioning your emotions instead of, because see, men, we like to brag on the fact that we're logical. Women are emotional. We're logical. That's why we make better leaders, and that's why we, that's why we run things, and that's why we, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so, but that may be true as far as we being more logical. I agree with that.
Yeah.
As far as the better leaders and all that stuff, I don't want to get into that. But
Right.
I don't want to get into that.
No, sir.
No, sir. But we may be more logical thinkers, and women may be emotional.
Yeah.
Depends on who you ask.
Yeah.
But us not being able to recognize our emotional side is a big handicap to us. It keeps us
agree.
from connecting to other people.
Yeah.
It keeps us from being more compassionate. It keeps us from being more understanding. It keeps us from being more patient. It actually makes us worse leaders
Yeah, I agree.
because we are not able to connect with people when they're suffering. We're not able to connect with people when they are upset. We're not able to identify. We may be able to identify with people.
Yeah.
Like relate to them, but their issues or whatever.
Yeah.
But being able to connect and being able to relate is two different things.
It's true.
So
It's almost like we have, I don't mean to cut you off, it's almost like we have like this sense of entitlement. Like just as you were conveying it earlier, I was sitting here like, yeah, he's right. Sometimes us as men, we can be insensitive about a lot of things, Chris, not really understanding that that's really not being emotionally intelligent whatsoever.
absolutely.
Because there's a selfishness, there's an entitlement that you tend to have, as you so eloquently said, I want my dinner done when I come home. But have you ever thought that maybe your wife just tired?
Exactly.
She worked too. Maybe your wife worked and maybe she's just tired and don't feel like, maybe you got kids and she's trying to take care of the home and work and make sure you straight. And maybe this is a day where she just you got to fend for yourself today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I think that entitlement is a big part of it too. We see it with our kids too. We see it with our kids as a sense of entitlement too.
Absolutely.
And of course, they are entitled to certain things because they are, your parents.
Yeah. Food, shelter, clothing, all that stuff, protection.
Correct.
But, yeah, man. I mean,
But yeah,
like you said, Chris, like I mean, I'm getting off the subject here, but, but women have a hard job, man.
They do.
Women have a hard job.
They have a very hard job, man.
I guess it's appropriate because it's Women's Month, but
yeah, it is.
You know, but man, you think about a woman. I was having this conversation with a coworker of mine about a few months ago, and she's a wife and a mother, and I said, you know, women have a wife and a mother have a hard job.
Hard.
Okay, so as a man, I'm coming home and I'm expecting, you know, food. I'm expecting the house to be tidy, the kids to be, you know, squared away.
Yeah.
I'm expecting, you know, companionship.
Yes.
You know, that late night action.
Yes.
You know, I'm expecting all that. And then also I'm expecting you to help me carry some of this financial load.
That's true too.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
But not even considering your issues.
Yeah.
You know, what it's like to be a woman, what it's like to be a black woman, a double minority. Not only are you a woman in the business world, you're a black woman. So we sometimes are really inconsiderate as men. We are really, like you said, entitled, and we can be very,
we can
very selfish. But
yes,
back to the emotions, man. Yeah,
sure.
like being able to recognize it, man, and being able to trace it back.
Yes,
being able to like let's take it out of the male female thing.
Yeah,
me and you as brothers.
Yes,
me and you as brothers. If I got an issue with you, you know, what is the real issue?
Yeah.
Is it something Chris said, or is it because I'm feeling this way because it triggered something in me? That I ain't dealt with, you know, from years back.
I like that. I like that too. Is it guilt? Is it shame? You know, as we were speaking earlier about certain things, and you know, what is it? Why is it so hard for us to just say what we need to say? To
yeah, exactly.
You know, I'm learning. You know, I think we all there's always a time and a space for us to continue to learn. And it never gets old to continue to learn.
Absolutely.
You continue to learn. It makes you better. It makes you grow. But I don't know why it's hard for us sometimes to.
You're speaking of as men?
As men, say what we need to say.
Yeah. We're not used to expressing ourselves.
Yeah. And then when we do express ourselves, sometimes it comes off very brash.
Very hard.
Then you want to fight, and then you got all of this. We're told not to cry. And, you know, so all of this ties into the emotional, and I hope I'm not going off
no, you're good.
Off too much a little bit there, but I want to make sure that I stay right on point with what we're talking about.
Absolutely.
Even as it pertains to, as you stated earlier about anger, you know, why are they angry? Why would, if somebody's projecting anger at you, then why would I stick my middle finger up at them and then cause even more detriment to the problem? Because I don't know what they're going through.
Absolutely.
Or whatever the case may be, whatever is happening at the moment.
Yeah.
Why am I going to add to that?
Yeah.
You know, when somebody yell and screaming at you, why am I going to give that back to them? I'm just throwing fuel on the flame. Boy, it's going to ignite.
Exactly.
And if you get two lions together, two alpha males together, oh, you got an issue on your hands.
You got an issue.
They're going to tear some stuff up.
And it's probably based on unresolved conflict. And it's mainly, most of the time, internal conflict. You asked, why is it so hard for us to express ourselves? A lot of times it comes from our childhood. A lot of times, Chris, it comes from us not being able to express ourselves as kids. We were raised, most of us, in an era where it was okay to be seen but not heard.
True.
You know, you didn't have an opinion. You didn't have. It was back talk.
Yeah.
You know, if
grown folks talking, get out of here.
And if your mother or father said something to you that made you feel a certain way, if you felt disrespected or if you felt mistreated, if you spoke up about it, it was back talk.
Oh, yes, sir.
And no discredit to our parents because they were raised
different,
different, you know,
different time, different period.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man.
And it's handed down.
That's so true.
But
That's so true.
But you know, speaking about emotions, guilt, shame, fear. I was having a conversation with someone the other day about why is it so hard to forgive ourselves?
Yeah.
Why as adults do we carry so much guilt and shame around? We're so quick to forgive other people, but we have a hard time forgiving ourselves, right? We have a hard time forgiving ourselves grace. We have a hard time giving ourselves compassion. And this is something that was shared with me, man. You know, most of us, Chris, grew up in a environment where if you did something wrong, you got punished.
Yeah.
You know, whether that was a whooping or spanking, or whether that was, you know, taking your phone from you, or not the cell phone. We ain't had those, but
no, we didn't.
We had the regular phone, you know,
with the long cord. I reached from one room to the next. Got a 50-foot cord, bro.
Choking people.
Yes, sir.
But they take your phone, or they take the TV privilege.
Yes, sir. You know? Oh yeah. Oh yes.
Or you couldn't go
take
outside.
That Atari from
exactly.
you. Yes, sir.
You couldn't go outside. But whatever the punishment was, you were punished. I use the example: if I was riding my bike on the way home and I ran through my neighbor's garden, my neighbor tell my mom gonna whoop me.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong there's nothing wrong with accountability. Nothing wrong with punishment.
Nothing at all.
The only problem with that is we were never taught redemption. We were never, my behavior was addressed, but I, as a child, was never addressed. My personhood was never addressed. So after that whooping for riding through Miss Jenkins' garden,
yes,
I was never told, you know, I spanked you, baby, for riding through that garden because you knew better, but I still love you.
I still love you.
And just because you did that don't make you any less of a person. I still love you. Miss Jenkins still love you. And you still my baby.
That's right.
But I had to whoop you.
I had to, yeah.
And so that may have happened sometimes or one time, but it didn't happen all the time.
Not all the time.
And so what happens is you grow up in an environment where you used to be, your behavior being punished, your bad behavior being punished.
Yeah.
But not redeemed. And so we grow up as adults, when we do something bad or we do something wrong, we're looking for the punishment.
Yeah, we're looking for the punishment.
We don't get whoopings no more, but we're looking for the punishment. So how do we punish ourselves? By not forgiving ourselves, by walking around with that guilt and shame, because we don't know how to redeem ourselves because we were never taught that. And so some of us carry that, man. And so, you know, my guilt and shame may come out in anger. My guilt and shame and embarrassment may come out in anger because I'm walking around with it and it's so thick in my soul that it makes me irritable. Yeah. And the least little thing that you say or do may set me off.
May set you off.
So it's being able to recognize those emotions. And emotional awareness is being able to label it. But you have to do the work. You have to find out what's wrong. You have to find out what you're feeling.
Yeah, that self-awareness. Know exactly what's happening with what's happening with your emotions at that moment. You know, I was thinking about some of the work that that's been given to me over the years through my own personal journey with my mental health, and a lot of the what's the word I'm looking for? A lot of the work that was given to me. Yeah. A lot of worksheets and stuff like that.
A lot of the work you put in.
A lot of the work I put in. That cognitive therapy. That really helps. That's that self-awareness.
Oh, yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
Do you feel that at that moment? You know, do you understand what you're feeling? You know, why are you feeling that? You know, I like what you said a few minutes ago. We don't give ourselves grace. We've been taught that you just take the punishment and then that's it. And sometimes you go home and be like, man, I suck at this, I suck at that. And then that deprivation, you continue to go further and further deep into that rabbit hole, man. And you end up staying there sometimes if you don't get the proper tools that you need for your healing. So this is real good. Listen, I hope you guys are getting something out of this conversation thus far. And listen, we're going to go even deeper. We're going to let Chris go ahead and go even deeper and speak a little bit more on emotional intelligence and
Absolutely.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So another piece of it is our children. It's important that as parents and as caregivers or guardians, whether grandparents, whatever, that we understand. We know kids are emotional. We label it as immature or whatever. But it's important that we understand something about the brain of a child. Not even the brain of a child, but the brain of an adolescent. Adolescents usually run, not usually, but adolescents runs, I think, between 11 or 12 up until like 19.
Okay.
So that's a long time from childhood all the way up.
Yeah.
Childhood and adolescence. The human brain has a part of the frontal lobe is the prefrontal cortex, right? The prefrontal cortex is not fully developed until you're 25 years old. All right? The prefrontal cortex is not fully developed until you're 25.
Wow.
Let me tell you what the prefrontal cortex is responsible for.
Okay.
It's the region of the brain that is responsible for personality, decision making, and moderating social behavior.
Wow.
So we look at children and we look at their decision making. And you look at a child that's in middle school, and I've heard parents say it, I've said it. What was they thinking?
Yeah.
And we even ask children when they do something that we as adults say is dumb or crazy or stupid.
Yeah.
We ask them, what were you thinking?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they'll say, I don't know. Or they can't even answer you, which makes us more aggravated or irritated.
Right.
Because that part of their brain that functions at that level, as far as decision making, is still in the process of being formed.
Yeah.
Also, it differentiates good and bad, better and best. The prefrontal cortex is also responsible for being able to look at future consequences.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Of current activities. So a child or during that adolescent phase, you're not even thinking about what I do now, how it's going to affect me in 3 or 4 years. Or how it's going to affect someone else. Because the prefrontal cortex also is a part of the brain that's responsible for concentration, judgment, reasoning, emotional regulation, abstract thinking, or being able to see the big picture, empathy, compassion, being able, you come home and you done had a hard day's work. You butt tired, right? You sit down, you plop down on the couch, and you even tell your kids, I'm so tired. Leave me alone for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Just let me get some rest. And they come in there and they see you exhausted. And what's for dinner?
Yeah.
I got this going on. Can you take me to so-and-so house? Can you drop me off at the gym, Mama?
Yeah.
Mama, I got practice, Mama.
Yeah.
Daddy, I need this. Daddy. They're not,
lot.
and we call them ungrateful. We call them, spoiled. We call them all these things. But the real issue is that part of that brain that houses compassion and empathy is not fully developed.
Nah.
And so also that it also modulates or regulates emotional awareness, man.
Yeah.
So take it easy on your kids. That's the moral of the story. Take it easy on your kids.
Yeah.
Understand that they are not as developed as you are.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something that you said that we're able to look at ourselves now and say, wow, our parents didn't understand that either. Like, they totally didn't understand. There's so much information, so many resources that we have available to us now. It will help us navigate through this a whole lot better.
Yes, sir.
And the human experience will be a whole lot better too because of all of these resoses that we have available.
Absolutely,
Thank God for them, man. I tell you. So this is real good stuff, man. I even with myself, when I think about some of the decisions that I've made in my own personal life when we talk about that cognitive thinking, which affects that part, your cognitive thinking, that's your decision making. And when you think about it, if you haven't been developed,
exactly.
If it's 25 for that thing really to be developed, and to keep it real, some of us, that thing don't get developed till about 40 or 50. Some of us, if we just really be truthful. It's not funny, but it's, just being very honest. Sometimes it takes some of us a little bit longer to get that thing, Chris.
A couple of things that can affect or can delay the development of the prefrontal cortex is trauma. So if you factor in trauma, you factor in drug abuse. You take a teenager who's seen his best friend gunned down in a drive-by shooting. You take a teenager, you take a child who lost their dad early. Lost their grandma early, best friend, grandma. You take
divorce.
You take divorce. You take extreme levels of poverty. Which is a very traumatic experience.
True.
To be lived out every day. You take rape, molestation, sexual abuse. You take a child seeing his mother beat every day. That's traumatic. You take what else is there?
Goodness.
You take a child, not a child, I wouldn't say. I mean, I'm sure it happens, but you take a teenager who's addicted to alcohol. Or methamphetamine.
There's a lot of that happening too in our society today. I'm sure it's been happening, but it's really the music talks about it. So it's embedded in our society.
Pill popping,
and stuff, drinks, and everything else that comes along with that, man.
That's going to delay the development of the prefrontal cortex.
Understood.
And do some irreparable damage. And trauma actually has been proven to even change the structure of the brain.
Wow.
Even shift the size of your brain.
Wow.
Trauma, man, is a beast. It will it would definitely cause. A lot of times we see people, I see it all the time in the hospital. Like I said last time, behavioral health is one of my main units.
Sure.
I see it all the time. Substance-induced psychosis, where people have a mixture of drug addictions, whether it's cocaine and alcohol and weed. And it actually has triggered or tripped something in their mind, and it leads to bipolar depression. It leads to manic issues. It leads to psychotic episodes. And but I've also realized that heavy drug use, for the most part, is a cover for trauma. It's something that has happened in their life at an early age, and the drug use is a way to escape.
It is
replaying it in their minds.
I like to call it patchwork. It's putting a huge Band-Aid over it, but really it's making it worse. And we don't realize it because, again, like we stated before, as humans, we want tangible. We want something right now to fix the situation. And if that's going to fix the situation, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and do that because that's going to help me get through it. And you put like this large Band-Aid over this wound that's continuing, it's making it worse. And you got a little small hole, and as I've heard a preacher once say, that wound becomes a big hole.
It does.
You got this big hole in you, and you're just packing it in, making it worse. And it's really not bringing healing to it, But go ahead, Chris.
I was just going to say, sometimes, though, that pain is so immense that you do whatever it takes just to be able to sleep. Just to be able to sleep, because there is some horrific events that happens in people's lives. Like I said, it shifts the brain. You take a battered woman who, on the outside looking in, we'll say, why don't you just leave him? I know her. She's smart. I went to school with her. She can go get a job. She don't have to live there. She don't have to do She don't have to put up with that. She got
Right.
family. She
Right.
got a good family. She come from
To come from
a good
stock.
family. Yeah, all that stuff.
All that. Yeah.
But what people don't understand is trauma. Trauma affects the brain to the point where you can lose your imagination.
yeah. I
You
agree.
you can't see a better day.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're unwilling to take risk.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
because to a battered woman, this is the trauma brain. To a battered woman, okay, my husband gets paid every Thursday, so he's happy on Thursdays. Okay, he drinks a lot, so by Sunday he gonna be broke. So I probably get beat Sunday night.
So they just prepare their mind
It's a
for
it's,
that trauma that's about to happen to them
it's
again.
it's a schedule.
It's a schedule. Okay.
Okay, so I'm probably going to get beat on Sunday through Tuesday. Okay, because he gets paid on Thursday. So Wednesday
Gotcha.
he'll be getting better. We'll probably have sex Wednesday. You know what I mean? And then Thursday I'll be okay, and then it'll start all over again.
Wow.
That to a brain that's traumatized, that normalcy,
Yeah.
it's easier to accept than the possibility of me leaving him, having to get a better job so I can support myself, to pull myself out of this violent situation. It's easier for me just to stay here.
Wow.
I can wrap my brain around the normalcy I know
Yeah.
versus the unexpected. I don't know what's out there. I don't know what it is to live alone. We've been married
Sure.
for 10 years. I don't know what that is or what that looks like.
Gotcha.
And that fear of the unknown
Yeah.
scares me more than me staying here getting beat.
I understand.
And so, but on the outside looking in, she's stupid.
Yeah.
She crazy.
Yeah.
Why don't she just leave him? But once you
folks
understand,
will say that,
yeah,
too. Mhm.
I've said it.
Yeah. Me too.
But once you understand the traumatized brain, it makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
It makes sense.
Wow.
I read.
That's a lot of layers to that, Chris.
Yeah, man.
Wow. When you talk, even as we talking about it, you can almost see the vicious cycle in it too. You know, from the psychologist standpoint, you know, of the brain.
Yes, sir.
And seeing how all of that, I could see how your brain can be something could actually happen to your brain.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if nothing happened to your brain physically.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
No,
it
that's
does.
what you're saying. Okay,
That's
okay.
what- It changes the size. It changes the structure of your
brain. Wow.
It shifts the structure.
So
of your brain.
that's probably why sometimes we see when people are going through any kind of trauma, any kind of mental health, that we see almost a change, a shift within the way the faces can be
The whole
dismembered.
countenance.
The whole countenance can,
Yeah.
like the face drooping or the drop of the head or the eyes, whatever it may be, you can almost just see it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely. It's a book titled The Body Keeps the Score by a psychiatrist, world-renowned psychiatrist, Dr. Bessel van der Kolk. And in this book, he talks about how not only does trauma affect your brain, but it affects your entire body. Sometimes sleepless nights, sometimes leg cramps, sometimes ulcers, and even diseases comes from trauma that we've suffered,
Absolutely.
that in our minds, our brains have been able to fight off and keep us from being mentally ill, but our bodies couldn't take it.
Yeah. Yeah. Excessive eating too.
Yeah, all kind
Eating,
of
all type of patterns you can find yourself, addictive patterns
Yeah,
that you can
absolutely.
find yourself in. Sex, indulging in pornography, you know, and that affects the dopamines in your brain. That too much of that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Boy, getting it in, watching porn, boy, tearing his brain up, boy. Lord Jesus, you know, it ain't funny, but you know, just keep it at 100. You know, like it being that right there, being an excessive of that amount too, Chris, is rough too, and that's like That's $1 billion industry,
Yeah.
billions and billions of dollars,
Yeah.
and it's affecting billions of people.
Yeah, it's
You know,
like you said.
but that's a whole
it's
nother
patchwork.
conversation, though. It's patchwork.
It's patchwork.
It's filling a void.
Absolutely.
But you know, that's,
Absolutely.
for some people, that's their go-to. Whatever it is,
Whatever
drugs,
it is.
alcohol, whatever it is, sex,
Yeah.
food, whatever it is.
Yeah.
They can find themselves. You even have people that are bulimic, you know, that make themselves regurgitate their meal.
Yeah.
Am I saying that right, Chris?
Bulimic, yeah.
Bulimic, yeah. And that's a tough thing to see people go through.
Because they feel like they're
They feel like
obese. They feel
they're
like
obese,
they're fat.
yeah.
And then nowhere near it. But
Nowhere near
it's
it.
a mental.
It's a mental thing.
It's a mental. Yeah, it's a
Wow.
mental illness. It's
What was you gonna say, Chris? I saw you getting ready to allude to something right after the book that you was
Oh
talking
yeah,
about.
I have an excerpt from the book.
Sure.
I have a quote from there. He says, "The mere opportunity to escape does not necessarily make traumatized people take the road to freedom. Many traumatized people simply give up. Rather than risk experimenting with new options, they stay stuck in the fear they know." And that's what we was talking about as far as the battered wife
Yeah.
scenario. And it happens to not just women in that scenario, but it happens to people on our jobs.
Yeah.
You know, people on jobs, they stay in very toxic work environments where they're disrespected. They're not really, their talent is not being seen. Their self-worth is being diminished. But they get a steady paycheck and they stay there because they fear sending their resume out and learning a new job, or not a new job, but going to a new company and things of that nature. So trauma can take on many forms.
Yeah.
And it's not always the rape. It's not always seeing someone murdered.
Yeah.
Racism is traumatic.
Yeah.
Being verbally abused on a consistent basis
Yes.
is traumatic.
Yes.
Severe levels of disrespect
Yes.
is traumatic.
Yes. You know, as we were talking about women being abused, I think sometimes men go through that too, go through domestic violence too.
Absolutely.
But I think sometimes ours, it can be violent, but I think ours sometimes, whatever's projected on us can be of what you just said a few minutes ago. The disrespect, talking down to, belittling, making you feel as if you're not enough. And you can find yourself in
absolutely.
This tongue can be a powerful thing. It can
Absolutely.
either build up or tear down.
Yeah, absolutely. Because see, a man, of course, has more muscle mass.
Sure.
He's stronger, bigger than a woman.
And most time he just gonna take it, whatever. it is.
Unless
that's true.
unless he's physically abusive, he's not gonna. But see, so the man physically, in most cases, not all, but in most cases, he's he has the upper hand.
Yeah.
And women know that.
Oh, absolutely.
So he can be physically abusive.
Absolutely.
The woman cannot,
Yeah.
but she can be verbally abusive.
Boy.
A woman can cut you, boy. A woman can cut you with that tongue.
Cut you like a knife, boy.
Like a switchblade.
Yes, sir.
But
Woo.
women have to understand that that's, to us,
Yeah,
just as hurtful as a fist to them.
absolutely, man. Absolutely.
On the flip side of that, men verbalize to your woman
Yes.
that her words hurt.
Absolutely.
Because some men will think it's not man enough to say, you hurt my feelings.
Say what you need to say.
You hurt my feelings.
Yeah, you hurt my feelings. Something as simple as
Something
that.
as simple as, you know, the other night when we was having that conversation about X, Y, and Z, you said that, and it hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
It made me feel like I'm not worthy. It made me feel like
Yes.
I ain't man enough for you, or it made me feel like I'm not doing enough. It made me feel like I'm not worthy. It made me feel like this, and just put it out there.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, and
That's right, man.
or you can always, and then you can always say, maybe you didn't mean it that way, but
Yeah,
what you said to me took me back to something my mom said to me when I was in middle school
yeah. Ooh,
that maybe I ain't hear from
yeah.
yet.
That's a trigger.
You know, open up, man.
Open up. You got to.
Healing. The old saying, closed mouths don't get fed.
And that's true.
And it's the same thing applies to sharing your pain.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you don't get healed being quiet.
Nah, you got to let it out.
You gotta take a
go
risk.
ahead and say it. I was listening. There's a song. I've said it before on the show before. John Mayer has a song.
Okay.
Say what you need to say.
Yeah.
Say what you need to say.
Yeah, that's right.
And I think a lot of times songwriters or sometimes people in the arts world, there's an answer for everything. Something as simple as to say, man, say what you need to say, man.
Yeah,
Get it
say
over
it.
with, man. You know.
Yep.
You know, if you're angry, say it. You know, there's a difference. And I think it goes back to what you said. Sometimes we have a hard time actually, we want to display the anger instead of verbalizing it. And we don't, I think sometimes that's where the emotional intelligence come in. Like, I think people need to understand it's okay for me to be angry. The problem is what I do with that anger.
Absolutely.
You know, as the Bible clearly states it, be angry and sin not. So the sin is, I'm going to kill you. I kill you. That's the sin. You can't kill nobody.
Yeah.
That's wrong. But to say I can be angry, it's an honest emotion.
It is.
Let's talk it out. If we have an art with our brother, we go to our brother and we talk it out. That's what we're supposed to do, but we have to grow to that.
Yeah.
You know, but that just made me think about that, you know, the simplicity of things.
Yeah, man.
Say what you need to say.
Yeah, Chris. You got.
And I know a lot of times we don't.
Yeah.
And I've been guilty of it. I'm not, you know, this is no way. I want to say this to the audience that this is no way that we're acting like we got it all together. No, that's not what we're saying. What we're saying is we understand, but there's a better way to do it. If you just go ahead and just say it. And yes, it is easier said than done.
Yeah.
But say what you need to say, and your life will be a whole lot better.
Yeah.
It will relieve so much stress. I'm learning that. Even today, Chris, it helps you give yourself grace.
Yeah, it does.
When you release that, man,
Yeah.
it's like, whew, that wasn't so bad. That's just like if you know you got to take care of something. We don't want to talk to the bill person.
Yeah.
Man, go on and talk to him and
Yeah,
take
go on
care
and
of
get
that
over it.
thing because it
Yeah.
ain't going to do nothing but pack up. If you owe taxes, don't sit on them. Just go ahead and pay the taxes. Well, start paying on them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever the debt is or whatever it is that you got, just go. I promise you, it'll feel so much better when you just go ahead and take care of it. That's where that emotional intelligence come in.
It
at,
is.
though.
It does.
Yeah, you just go ahead and take care of it, man.
Yeah. Just yeah, man. Like I was going to comment on something you said. I lost it.
Simplicity. When I was saying something about simplicity,
Yeah.
you just go ahead and say it. And
Yeah.
if you're angry, I think a lot of times we miss it because we overthink it, Chris.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, yeah. I know what I was going to say.
Okay, go ahead.
As far
I was
as,
hoping that would help you, bro.
Yeah, you jogged my memory, man. When you were saying it's okay to be angry,
Yeah.
emotions, like I said before, are a part of our humanity.
Yes, man.
Emotions, in and of themselves, are neither good or bad.
Not at all.
They just a part of humanity. So to deny your feelings is to deny yourself.
Yes.
It is to deny a part of you that makes you human.
That's right, man.
So men, understand that, bro. Like, it's okay to have feelings.
It is really okay.
And it's okay, but it's not okay to feel guilty about having feelings.
Yes.
And please process those feelings. And what I mean by process those feelings is recognize them for what they are.
Yeah.
Recognize them for what they are.
Yeah.
I'm sad today.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, feel that.
it ain't the weather. It ain't you know what I mean?
That's
but
right,
it's
man.
like I woke up on and you didn't wake up on the wrong side of the bed.
Nah.
I'm sad today. Like, I don't understand why.
Yeah.
But I'm sad today. And you may go through a whole day and not know why. But tell somebody that listens to you. Your friend, your mom, somebody who loves you, who knows, you know, I'm sad today. Like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm just real sad today.
Need a safe place.
You need a safe place.
Safe person, safe place, whatever it is. Yeah.
Because if you don't, then somebody who's around you all the time, hey man, what's wrong with you today? Nothing. I'm good.
We'll say that too.
I'm good. And then an hour later too, you sure, bro? What's wrong with you today?
Yeah.
Like, you tripping. Like, what's
or
wrong?
something impulsive happens and you're sitting there like, well,
what's
what
wrong?
the hell?
Yeah,
Why did you do that?
What's wrong? And then we get irritated.
We do.
I told you nothing. Like, leave me alone. Like, you know what I'm saying? Instead of saying, I'm sad today.
Yeah,
like,
I'm not having a good day, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think if we can learn to convey that properly in a controlled environment, in a safe place.
Safe place.
You know, I think sometimes too, Chris, friendships, we have to allow that safe place for friendship to, and of course, we know you can't tell everybody your business because some people, you know, depends on who you tell, it can hurt. It can use against you. It can damage. You can further damage the situation. But I think establishing a safe place to be around someone, if you have that responsibility of being able to be the person that everybody talks to, then hold that.
Yeah.
Hold that as a sacred place for them and let it be a safe space. And safe means you don't go out and tell everybody what's going on.
Yeah.
You know, they should be able to come and talk to you and, you know, and leave the door open. You know, leave that door open for that conversation so it can happen. But at the same time, you protecting your mental too, though, in the process of helping others.
Absolutely.
You don't want to find yourself in that same situation either. So
That's true.
I would say just really, as you were saying, if you have one friend that you can talk to, you can talk it out to.
Yeah.
But therapy is always available.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I know it's tough, but we still have those. You know, we have things. 988 is that number. It's a hotline for those that are dealing with suicide or suicidal thoughts, or you just need somebody to talk to. That hotline is 988, folks, so you guys can reach out. Go ahead, Chris.
I was going to say.
We're going to plug that again at the end.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And most jobs, man, a lot of people don't realize this, but most jobs through your insurance.
That's right.
You get like 6.
What do you call that, Chris?
They call it different things.
Is it EPA?
Yeah, employee.
It's
different. It's different initials. There's different names for it.
Yeah.
But most companies,
they have
through
that
your insurance, have therapy sessions that you can get. Please reach out to your HR department.
Yes.
And inquire about this.
Yes.
But you can get, I know, some are 3 sessions, some are up to 6 or even 8 sessions that you can get for free, absolutely free, where you can go talk to someone. And it's private. They're legally bound not to share any of your business with your employer.
That's right.
They don't work for your employer. You actually get to pick the therapist yourself. If you're a Christian, you can pick a Christian therapist. If you're non-Christian, you can pick whoever you want to.
Right.
In your local area. So please look into that. Talking to someone, if you don't have that community, if you don't have that family and friend group that you trust.
That's right. And
go ahead.
And let me say this, folks. I apologize. I said EPA. I was dead wrong about that. So forgive me on conveying that improperly. It's not EPA. That's the Environmental Protection Agency. So forgive me, guys, on that. I'm steady. I'm going to give you the correct form, that correct name of that for it's on your job. But what I told you before was wrong. So forgive me on that. Don't hold that against me. So you got anything else, Chris?
Yeah, man. As I said before, guys, this podcast was mainly dedicated to men who suffer in silence, men who don't know how to express their feelings, men who think that expressing their feelings make them less of a man, men who guard their emotions, or men who find unhealthy outlets when they're suffering, whatever that outlet may be. It may be risky behavior. It may be gambling, drugs. It may be alcohol, overindulgence of things. Start taking care of yourself, brothers. Start taking care of your minds.
Yeah.
And one way to take care of your mind is to understand that it's okay to have feelings. It's okay to be emotional.
That's right.
Being emotional is not just for women or kids. Being emotional is what makes you a human being.
That's right.
Learn to process those emotions.
That's right.
Learn to express those emotions. Learn to recognize those emotions, and don't feel guilty about having them, because they are what makes you a human being. So that's mainly my message today.
Oh man, beautifully said, bro. Beautifully said. And I hope you guys have gotten something on today that can help you become better. And the proper name of that is the Employee Assistance Program, and it helps with grief, financial issues, substance abuse,
so you almost
anxiety. I almost had it. I had the words a little backwards.
Not EPA, EAP.
EAP, y'all. So if you have insurance on your jobs, that is there available for you. That is a benefit for you for your health and wellness. It's part of the health and wellness program that you have on your jobs. And again, that is the Employee Assistance Program. So find out about it. If you need somebody to talk to, that benefit is available for you on your job. It will help with anxiety, substance abuse, grief, and financial illness. Financial issues, child care, and housing. So it's a lot in that. So find out exactly what you need. And listen, if you are struggling with your mental health and you feel like you want to commit suicide, there is a hotline for you. That's 988 is that hotline. And therapy is always available. Listen, this is the Ross Cloud Podcast. I'm your host, Carl Ross Sr. Make it a great day and keep being great. Peace.